Okay, guys. I've had a few close encounters with the other kind. We know which ones we're talking about. I warned them all in 2019 that everyone's going to lose a business and this shit's going to hit the fan and they're all being played. And I've been watching all these channels from Israeli news to Begley, every channel you can think of. I watch them all, every single one of them. And the amount of people that have been led down a garden path with Trump and he's draining the swamp and all that shit. And all the time, not one of them had noticed that he does witchcraft on the podium where he spells out sigils with his hand. I mean, and there's a rumour now that the White House is nobody there. Apparently it's been, the lights are off and there's nobody home. And it's surrounded by a big fence and all this sort of stuff. And let me just go to the close encounters I've had in the last couple of days. One of them is an ex-colleague who was always proud of the fact that he worked 6 days a week, 12 hours a day, because he's about £250,000 in debt, mortgage, missus, kids, cars, and he wants to get it all paid off so he can sit there and do nothing and laugh at everybody who's got no money, basically. And every time he spoke to me, he was like, yeah, I've got my mortgage, I've got this, I've got that. In other words, I've got this and you've got nothing. And he was very proud of himself. I seen him yesterday. And as we all know, any business now has lost 70% of their footfall or whatever, so they're all going to go down. And he sat there, and I walked up to him. He says, all right, mate. I said, how are you doing? He said, I'm fine, yeah. And then I said to him, what do you think about all this stuff? He said, well, it is what it is, isn't it, you know, and yeah, business has gone down, but it's all right, you know, it's picking up. And I'm looking at him thinking, you're off your head. And I put it to him about what would happen, you know, if the shit hit the fan. He said, well, the government would look after us, wouldn't they? They'd have to. And I said, well, have you done any research? Have you thought about it? He said, well, I haven't got time. He said, I haven't got time to sit around looking at stuff, he said. That's what he said to me. He hasn't got the time to sit and look at stuff. That's what he said. And I said, the government are not going to look after you, and they don't even like you, and a few other things. And on that, he looked at me and said, you are a very peculiar man. And he wound up the window. And that was the end of that conversation. 25 years down the drain. I'm a very peculiar man. Because I told him that the government is going to leave him high and dry. And then I said, well, what will you... Oh, yeah, before he put the window, I said, what do you do if the government don't pay your mortgage and all that? He said, well, I don't know, I'll have to think about it. I said, well, you better think about it now. He said, well, I haven't got time for that. Honestly. And then I was into a shop yesterday, and it's a letting agents. The letting agents do not have masks on, but there's a young man sat there who has to wear a mask because now he's in the shop. So I walked in without a mask on, and this woman looked up, she went, mask? I went, what about it? She said, you haven't got one on? I said, neither have you. Anyway, that conversation ended in about 4 seconds. I was not going to put a mask on. I went into my local shop and I warned them over a year ago that they're going to lose the business. And they've got a sign outside saying mask. You've got to wear a mask in the shop. But they're in the shop without a mask on. All three of them. So I thought, I'm going to go in there again today. So I went in today. I said, have I got to wear a mask when I come in? She said, yeah. I said, well, you've not been wearing one. So what's the difference? And it's just not getting through, guys. I said it's illogical. I went into Specsavers yesterday. They've all got masks on. It looks like an operating theatre. And I walked in there, no mask. I said, oh, have you got a mask? He said, no. I said, I'm just looking around. He said, well, if you touch a pair of glasses, we've got to put them on a tray and we've got to sterilise them and put them back. And I said, right. I said, but you will go to Waitrose up the street and pick up a tin of beans and put them back down because you don't want them, but someone else has touched that tin of beans and it's not being sterilised. How do you feel about that? Well, we're just doing what we're told. That was the response. We're just doing what we're told. So, but don't you understand? It does not make sense. Anyway, I got kicked out. There's also rumours that the White House lights have gone out and everyone's panicking, running around. And I spoke to another friend today whose wife said she will take the vaccine because she wants to go on holiday. Remember that one? I seen her husband yesterday. He comes out of the shop with a mask on, and then he puts a mask out when he's on in the street talking to me, and I'm looking at him. He's also, I told him today that the government's going to leave him high and dry and everything's going to go tits up. He doesn't believe me. He said, yeah, but online sales have improved, so the shops that aren't open are doing okay. I mean, this is just a general consensus of 99% of the people that I meet. And every one of these people that I meet, I've always reckoned that I'm mad and I'm nuts and I don't know shit. And I also told my friend that the government's winding them up. The British government, since all this started, have just been taking the piss out of people. And they're just waiting for people to wake up and say, I've had enough. And then it really is going to go off, guys. I can just see it. I've seen it all before anyway. I don't know, guys. So many people that are blind, stupid, or dumb, or don't want to know the truth, or rely on the government too much. Oh yeah, that's another thing as well. When I go into shops and they say you've got to wear a mask, I said, what for? I said, I don't watch the television. You should see some of the looks I get when I say I do not watch the television. I get a look as if to say, are you off your head? I'm not even joking. Strange times we're living in. Oh, by the way, Gloria to Jesus Christ, that link you left me to do with the moon, your comment won't even show up. And my channel, by the way, is getting heavily censored. All my channels have been heavily censored. You will not get notifications. You will get unsubscribed and all kinds of stuff. And some of the comments not appearing, but they do appear in my notification, but they don't come up on the actual video. And I would like that link, please, Gloria to Jesus Christ, because I've even tapped in the name and it won't come up. Yeah, I don't know how you got on with Super Mouse and mud fossil plasma webs, interdimensional plasma webs. I've always known there was the ability to travel somehow interdimensionally, like I said, because we've been around for thousands and thousands of years. You know, 20, 50, 100. You know, I've always kind of suspected that there was some capability somewhere. And there's different levels of density as well. You've got 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. I think it goes up to 14 densities. So that means some people can appear in a 3D density and not be seen because they're from a 6 density. And that's a whole new subject about densities. But if I was a 6 density being, I could pop up on Earth and you wouldn't even know where I've come from. Or you wouldn't even see me if you didn't want you to. That's right, guys. It is what it is. It is what it is. I've just come in for a walk. Oh, the Chinese lady in the chip shop, English chip shop, Chinese lady. She's absolutely terrified of Xi Jinping. When I go in there, I said, oh, you're president. And she would dare not say anything about him whatsoever. Nothing. She's absolutely terrified. I said, well, when you see him, tell him I'm going to kill him. Okay? Tell him he's going to get his ass kicked and he's finished. And she's looking at me, she giggled. But she's still not, one will not say a word against him. And it's quite clear that she's terrified of him. I said, you should be proud of your leader, not terrified of him. I said, that's not right. But every time I go in there, I keep telling her to tell him that I said he's going to get his ass kicked. And she must think I'm nuts. But I'm not joking. And he's going to find out soon. They all are. And Zeus as well and Athena. Me and my team have been onto these guys for a long time. You need to know that Zeus and Athena are in so many old movies and new ones, subliminally, in the background. It may be a photograph, it might be a statue, a painting, that have in absolutely everything. Because these guys have been worshipping these deities, not real gods. There's only one real god. All these other ones are just imitations. But yeah, Zeus and Athena, they've been sticking them in movies, guys, in your face, and subliminally where you've not seen them, but we've seen them, me and my friends, in places where you wouldn't believe. But yeah, Zeus and Athena been following me around everywhere. And people just need to understand there's only one God. Any other form of worship to any other idol is a folly, a complete and utter folly. Also, I've been getting messages off some Nigerian guy. I think he's been watching my channel, because he knows I've got a personal relationship with God. He's asking me to ring up this orphanage in Nigeria for motherless children, and he's left me the phone number and he wants me to ring him up. I'm going to get a lot of this. It's nuts. It's absolutely nuts. And then you got the old remnant, relic, religious zealots that are still around, Lord. You think they're the masters of the Bible. Go around saying everybody, you got it wrong, you got it wrong. Also, I've been ringing up my local churches. Not one of them has answered the phone, Lord. And I'm looking for some spiritual guidance during this pandemic, and nobody's answering the phone. Nobody. And I've been watching the channels, and they're telling people to get the COVID injection, Lord. Churches have been infiltrated so much that they're actually telling people to go and get it. And they won't even answer the phone. They should be round knocking on doors and doing the ministry work, looking after old people, and asking any families whether they need any spiritual support and giving them the blessings and all that lot. Well, they're not. They're just hiding away in the grace and favour houses doing shit. They won't even answer the phone. And I've been ringing every day, Lord. Well, not every day, because I can't lie. Nearly every other day. And he's just ignoring me. Next step, I'm going to go and knock on his door, because I've had enough of this. Anyway, I could rant for hours, but I've got to go, because I've got a cup of coffee to drink. Okay, I love you guys. Peace out.